From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
That's right, Taylor Heating and Plumbing, Taylor 500 Help, Taylor 500 Help. That's the number to call. If you need service, furnace service, if you need insulation, if you need a water heater, if you need AC, because, you know, summer's coming. I know it's March now. It's a little bit cold for a March day, but Taylor Heating and Plumbing will make service customized to fit your needs. Air conditioning, heating, plumbing, home energy, comprehensive maintenance plans, and financing. Don't stress the important repairs or replacements because you think, oh my goodness, I can't afford a new hot water heater. Call Taylor. They will set everything up for you. Taylor's also looking for some key players to come work for them. And if you're looking for a job, the current opportunities are HVAC techs, plumbers, project managers, office personnel. But Taylor 500 Help for all of your heating and plumbing needs. Of course, we love them and they love us. They installed our air conditioning here at Reveal Realty and Kimberly's Revolution. So check them out, Taylor 500 Help. Precision Lawn and Garden, North Avenue and Webster. Precision Lawn and Garden has been servicing surrounding Rochester areas with professional sales, service, and parts since 1969. They've got everything: snow blowers, chainsaws, lawnmowers, Toro, Kawasaki engines, Cub Cadet errands. Precision Lawn and Garden. They are right in Webster on North Avenue. Talk to Kimberly and Justin, and they will make sure that you are set and ready to go. Express Sealers, 645-2010. They do more than seal driveways in the summertime. They also plow driveways in the wintertime. And of course, your business, parking lots, whatever you need. Express Sealers, Brian gets it done. Make sure you start setting up your appointments now for sealing driveways this summer. I got a feeling that it's going to be very busy for the guys that are in the sealing business. Express Sealers, 645-2010. And please support our advertisers because they spend their money here, and we couldn't do it without them here at Kimberly's Revolution and the We the People Podcast Network.
Live from the We the People broadcast studio in sunny 40-degree Irondequoit, New York. We already knew she's one of God's chosen one. Here she is. She's Kimberly Ray.
Hello. Hey, welcome everyone. Did I screw something up? I moved the camera, Austin. I moved the camera and I'm not sure what I did. But anyway, here we are, Kimberly's Revolution. It is Tuesday and you know, we're feeling good about it. It's a little chilly for a March day in Rochester, but you know what? The sun is out and we will absolutely take it. Want to say I'm Kimberly, obviously, Kimberly's Revolution, the We the People Podcast Network. And Just Tom is sitting across from me. And we have Austin, our producer, who is making things happen.
I thought his name was Justin.
No, his name. Why do you give me a hard time when I actually get his name
Can't we just
right?
call him Justin for
So,
that?
yeah,
No.
so Austin is here with us. And of course, we thank Fitz at Rockvox Productions for making sure that we have everything set up and working properly on a regular basis. It's Fitz at Rockvox Productions. That's ROCVOX Productions. So anyway, welcome to a Tuesday. Today's show is called the Comeback Cuomo. You know how the Comeback Kid? The Comeback Cuomo. But please tell me why. Why? How is this possible? Look at that front page.
All is forgiven.
No charges. Grandma and grandpa died in the nursing home. Fondling random women or women that worked in his office, of the governor's office.
Apparently,
but here we are.
Apparently, Governor Hochul just went off the deep end, and they want him back now.
I don't know.
Which is why she's now all of a sudden shifting towards the middle. Who knew?
Look at that. Hochul pitches changes
of
to
course.
bail reform.
Of course she is.
And then right next to her, Coinky Dink? I think not.
What's the doodling? What's the doodling in the upper part of your paper there, Kimberly?
Okay, so I have been very busy. Okay, so first, we do Kimberly's Revolution here at the We the People podcast network. And on the side, this, of course, is an attorney's office because Chad Hummel, who does the show with us on Wednesday, is an attorney. You're an appraiser and a real estate agent, and you own a part of the brokerage firm.
Right.
And we do real estate out of this office with Revere Realty. And I've got a lot of stuff going on right now. And I was taking down phone numbers of clients that I need to call with certain financial information. So that's what the doodling was up in the corner. It was numbers and clients' phone numbers and stuff that I was trying to remember. And I didn't have anything but the newspaper to write on because, yes, I still physically have a newspaper delivered to my house. Don't judge me. Don't. You're judge. I can tell you're being all judgy with the looks. I can see you people.
I went in when I was at Wegmans on Sunday and I just happened to look at the paper was sitting there.
Yeah.
$3 for Sunday's paper.
Yeah, I don't even know. We get it from my mom because she likes to have the paper every day. But so I was doodling. Let me just say this right now. I mean, I am glad that I work for Revere Realty because there can be some pretty complicated scenarios that clients are going through, whether they're buying or selling a house. And it's nice to have the ability to call you, Tom, because you're an appraiser and you've been in the real estate business for a long time. Or it's nice to be able to pick up the phone and talk to Chad and go, hey, is this legal? Because I don't know if this is legal. But it's nice to be able to get immediate answers for clients who are looking to buy or sell a home, instead of having to kind of wait and guess and you or say, I just don't know, because saying I just don't know doesn't cut it.
It gets Kimberlina furious.
It's saying I don't know. It does.
Right.
I mean, and honestly, I have to say this. I have never handled an all cash offer before that a client of mine has placed on a property. And I can say, if you don't get the wording just right, it can make or break a deal.
Sure.
Right. And plus the fact, I don't know where you people are getting your money. Where I have lost out to so many cash deals where I've had clients put in an offer on a home and then the other agent will call me back and say, oh, Kimberly, I'm sorry you didn't get the house. There were 22 offers and 15 of them were cash. And we went, I'm like, where in the hell is all the money coming from?
People have been stuffing it in their mattresses
for
50 years.
Is that what you, do you just have $300,000 on hand to pay cash for a house?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Just open up a pillowcase.
Yay, you. So cash deals are like king right now.
Cash is king.
Cash is king. And unfortunately, there
no
are a lot of
inspections, no nothing. Just write us a check. It's yours.
No appraiser. You can close in 15 days, 20 days.
Yep.
You can do that fast of a close. So I will tell you, there are some interesting, situations out there. And I will also say that if you are thinking about selling your house, maybe you're moving out of the area. I have clients that are moving out of state and they're listing their house and they're gone. They're gone out of New York State. And so they are probably going to make $150,000 on their house, if not more, because houses are going, so much over.
Yeah, it doesn't look like we've hit the peak yet either. They're still going up.
So if you know people that are crypto, what are they saying? Crypto profit proceeds. You think
right.
You can buy. I would assume that you could probably buy a house with crypto, right?
Way to pay attention to last episode, Mike. That's what the girl said, that she was getting her money from porn was in crypto, but she was really making porn.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. On the last episode that we had.
Right.
So if you're kind of hemming and hawing over selling your house, I would say call us. Email me at kgoodman@Revere Realty. You can also
do an apartment.
Reach out to me on Facebook. What's that?
That's what people are saying. They're like, boy, I'd like to sell my house because I got 200,000 in equity, but where the hell am I going to move?
Yeah.
So you either got to leave or.
Well, some people, these clients obviously have a place to go. If you have a place to go, It's fantastic. It's
Right.
definitely a seller's market. Yeah, I mean, Cindy, yeah, it is. I went to high school with Cindy. Hi, Cindy, how are you? It is. And so if you're a seller, that's great news for you. If you're a buyer, unless you have cash on hand, it might take you a little while. We'll get it done, but it might take you a while. So I was showing houses this weekend
Okay.
in Irondequoit, and I want to show you some of my vintage finds. I posted this on Facebook, and remember.
So in other words, old shit.
I call them because when I see stuff like this,
Crap.
I smile.
It's crap.
Okay, so I'm from Kansas City. I don't know.
Rochesterians know what that is.
Charlie's Chips. I've never heard of Charlie's Chips. And apparently there's a little bit of history behind this Charlie's Chip can, yes?
Yeah, we used to have it delivered to our house in Irondequoit. My mom got it. And there's potato chips, and I think there was pretzels and other things you could get.
So like the milkman,
Yeah.
the potato chip guy came to your house.
They were the greasiest, best potato chips ever.
And delivered potato chips.
Yeah.
So do they make them anymore?
Have no idea. I'm sure.
I mean, someone said it's a company that was around for 80 years, but I've just never, ever heard of a potato chip guy delivering potato chips to
They
your
had
house.
other products. I don't remember what they were.
But apparently, when I posted it on Facebook, everyone knew what Charlie's Chips were.
Yeah.
Me at my house, we just had the milkman probably up till I was about 9 or 10, and then the milkman kind of
I'll leave that alone.
went away with the rest of things that you don't
You
find
only had
anymore.
the milkman.
We only had the milkman, but that's the only thing we ever had delivered. We didn't have any. We're not fancy in the Midwest, apparently. Not fancy enough to have potato chips delivered. Austin, have you ever had a Charlie's Chips, or are you too young? Do you remember Charlie's Chips?
I think I have had Charlie's Chips, but not for many years.
Not for many years, yeah. So here's another little vintage find in this house. The same house.
Nice.
What?
1975
Who
dishwasher.
didn't have that kind of linoleum in their house? We had our linoleum was actually redder than that, but it had the look of brick. Remember? It's an awful.
Yeah, my mom had the same thing.
1960s, 1970s, because we had our house built where I lived in Buckner, Missouri in 1970. And it was the first house that my mom and dad had ever owned. And we never had a dishwasher, though. You fancy if you had a dishwasher that was that gold.
It was either the gold or the green.
Yeah, the avocado green.
The avocado green.
Or the harvest gold. Fabulous. And I don't even know if that works, but it probably does. It had the push buttons on it.
High tech.
Isn't that cool? But that, and there's another little retro find. And I don't know about you, but I love it when I see
the intercom system.
The intercom / AM radio.
Right. That never works.
What's not to love about the AM radio? And I think the last thing I showed you from my house was where they had an AM FM radio in the wall and a record player that was also came out of the wall like that on the faux brick. Right? That's not real brick. That's faux brick.
So how many people put offers in this updated state-of-the-art house that you were in?
We didn't make an offer on this house.
Seems like maybe you should have.
I
You
know.
might have been able to get in on that one.
No, my client passed on that, and I understand why. It was a quirky house, not for everyone.
You got to buy those fixer-uppers.
Little bit different. Some of it was fixed up, some of it wasn't. But you know what? You look at houses, and some houses are for some people and other houses aren't, for others. I will tell you that we made an offer on another Irondequoit house that we saw the same day, and we actually did get that offer accepted. So yay!
Yay, Kimberly.
So my clients did get their offer accepted on another Irondequoit house.
There's one good thing about this market going crazy.
Yeah.
Real estate agents are still making the same commission.
I know.
And houses are selling for $100,000 more than they used to.
I know. Yeah.
So good for us.
I know. Any velvet paintings? I did not see any velvet, the dogs, Elvis dogs playing poker or whatever it is. Yeah. No, I didn't. We used to have potato chips, baked goods, and milk delivered. I'll tell you guys had it going on here in Rochester back in the day. And we were lucky to get,
our milkman actually had
milk.
a key to the front door. I never understood that, but
that's why you're here.
oh yeah. Didn't everybody's milkman have a key
That
to the
is
front
why
door?
you're here. I mean, I do. I really love houses, and the real estate market, while it is super complicated right now, if you just hang in, eventually, if you're a buyer, you will get a house. And if
Well-
you're a seller, man, I can get rid of your house in 4 days for $100,000 over what it's assessed at.
Well, it
So-
doesn't appear that financing is an issue because
No.
people are paying cash, but the banks have been slowly raising interest rates. They're up to 4.5%
They
or something
are,
now. They were
yeah.
down, COVID time, they were down 3.5%, even under 3%.
Right.
So the Fed announced the other day, last week, that one of 4 rate hikes for
I
this
know.
year is coming.
I know.
So
Better lock it in, man. Lock
but
that
the
rate
thing
in.
is, as long as the values don't drop, right? As long as they stay at a similar level,
I don't see that happening.
people will have cash when they go to sell their house because their houses are full of equity.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Which means the contractors now, with home remodeling, if you can't buy a house, what's the next thing? Hey, we're going to remodel our bathroom, our kitchen. We've
Right.
got equity in this house. Let's get a home equity loan, put an addition on,
Yeah.
or whatever. So you're going to start seeing, even though they're already through the roof now,
Mhm.
now that people have more disposable cash in their equity, they're going to start putting money in their houses.
Yeah. And God bless you when you can do that, because me personally, I am not a chaos girl. The chaos of home improvements drives me out of my mind. Like, we're getting ready to pull up the carpet in our house, and we just bought hardwood because my husband's pretty handy. So we're matching hardwood to the hardwood that was
Mhm.
currently down. That's going to drive me crazy this weekend because of the chaos and the mess. And it's only one room and it's only floors. I can imagine the whole kitchen. There's like some really old beauties out there that if you have the patience and the skills, and some people have skills. I don't have any skills. I have zero.
Austin, can we get
I
that
have-
clip and hold it?
I have
forever?
zero skill.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Really saying I don't have any skills.
I don't have any skills, and I have zero patience, which is the 1-2 punch of at least I can admit that I have a problem, right? So there's this house in Syracuse, and you can find this particular house in any city, USA. Like,
Yeah.
I know where I live where I used to live in Independence, Missouri. There's a whole area around the Independence Avenue area. And if you're watching from Kansas City, you know where I'm talking about. It's where President Harry Truman had his home that he lived in for years with Bess Truman and Margaret, his
Mhm.
daughter. And it's just a plain old 2-story white house with a wrought iron fence around it. But that whole area in the 70s and 80s just went downhill. There's a whole revitalization now, and people are redoing all these houses, and it's slowly, it's coming back to life. There is a whole area like that in Syracuse. There's a whole area like this in Rochester,
Sure.
probably Chicago on the south side and what have you. Here's a little TikTok that I saw
All right.
on this house in Syracuse that if you have the cash and the patience and the time, you can own this for $12,000.
This old house is for sale for $12,000 in Syracuse, New York.
I don't dig the music they put to it, but look at that old woodwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Look at that old fireplace.
Looks like any house on
in the
Arnett Boulevard.
etching. It needs a lot of work.
The 19th Ward.
Yeah, the 19th Ward. Yeah.
Beautiful houses in the 19th Ward.
Here in Rochester.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, they have all the glass doorknobs, and they have the skeleton keys, and they have all the original hardwood floors. I mean, the hardwood floors might not look up to snuff, but you can easily but here's the deal on this house, right? So they're only going to let you have this house. So it's $12,000, and it's on Elk Street in Syracuse. It's like just a couple of minutes from Syracuse University, which is, I mean, that's golden, right?
Which is rental city, right?
But the estimated renovation cost, and I don't know where they get their numbers for this particular house, but the estimated renovation cost for this is $88,000.
Okay.
I say it's going to be more than that.
Well, it depends what type of materials you're putting in.
I mean, you can probably, clean a lot of that woodwork up and leave it, but painting and, you'd probably have to redo some of the floors, and it probably needs all new plumbing, and it probably needs new electrical. And so that's going to, I think, probably be the bulk of the amount of money you spend. But whoever buys it, you have to show proof of $100,000 in your account. And the only way that you can buy this is you have to be an owner occupant. You can't buy this house in Syracuse and rent it out. They will not allow you to do that. But it's a beautiful old house. I love it.
Yeah, this has actually been a trend as long as I've been in the real estate business. Here's the one difference. Back in the day, properties in the inner city would sell for 25, 30,000. And to rehab a house to make it brand new would cost 80,000.
Yeah.
So what would the city do? Well, they had these non-for-profit groups that would in other words, they would charge the customer, let's say 55,000.
Look at that wainscoting.
But the city would contribute money into the fund so that they could turn these zombie houses over.
Right.
But what's happening now, and I actually had this conversation with a friend of mine about a business proposition, but I mean, I don't have the money to do it. But as the lower end homes in the city of Rochester have now officially doubled.
Right.
They're selling in the 60s and 70s, the middle, the low base for starter homes.
Yeah.
That we're getting close to taking these vacant lots and zombie houses and people buying them, renovating them, and selling them with their own money. That's never happened before.
Yeah.
Because it's always had to have government subsidy involved in being able to do that, because the houses were never worth what they had to cost to get them done.
Right.
So now what this picture is really showing is, hey, you can get a house for 12,000 as long as you're willing to put the money in it and have 100,000 in, and the house is probably going to be worth around 100,000 when you're done.
Well, or more, depending on how well you do it. And by the way, the other stipulation is you have to live here for 10 years. You have to live in that house in Syracuse for 10 years. And if you don't, or you sell it beforehand, you're going to get really dinged.
Yeah.
But I will say, why in the world did people ever put carpet over those beautiful hardwoods? What would,
because they were stained.
Can someone please, for the life of me, tell me why in the world anyone would ever, and I know it was a big thing in the 60s, and ooh, if you had carpet, that was a great thing. But why in the world would anyone put carpet over beautiful hardwood floors in houses?
Because it costs a lot to refinish it and sand it all down, because
Costs a lot to carpet it.
Well, it's cheaper to carpet.
And then
most of it's stained, and the pets over the years, and it makes quite a mess with the floor. It ruins it pretty easily.
A house I lived in Browncroft area, which is also a lot of those big old stately homes that have been around for a long time. She would water her plants and just not clean up the water.
Yeah.
And it obviously rotted some of the boards out. Yep. Warps the floors. Yeah, exactly. So that's just my little house. I love houses.
Me too.
People are always interesting, but I love houses. But if you are thinking about selling or buying, whatever, give us a call here at Revere Realty.
My go-to thing when people call, if they're a previous client, I always tell them, look, I don't remember people. I only remember houses.
You remember the houses.
So give me your address and I'll tell you everything about it.
I'm going to tell you that here's Tom. I love Tom. I'm like, hey, where Tangi's, soul food restaurant is? And he goes, eh.
No.
And I go, oh, well, the 60th, it's another murder and mayhem weekend here in Rochester, New York. Just like democratic cities all across the country, another murder and mayhem weekend. And over the weekend, I think there were 2 homicides. The 16th homicide was recorded at 2:45 a.m. Sunday into Monday morning in the parking lot of a restaurant called Tangi's Restaurant. And I go, oh, I bet Tom knows where that is.
Never heard of it.
So here's what I said to Tom. I said, hey, Tom, do you know Tangi's Kitchen? And I said, that's where the 16th homicide of the year occurred here in Rochester, New York. And he goes, no. And I said, yeah, it's over at—
You said, what's the address?
Yeah, you said, what's the address? And I said, 165 East Ridge Road. And you go, oh, that's the Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Next to the garage door. Right.
Tom doesn't know names,
Not a
but if
thing.
I give Tom an address, he's like Rain Man of real estate. I think that's just what we're going to call you from now on. Tom is like the Rain Man of real estate.
Well,
I
with
could give
my
him any
COVID
address.
fog, who
Oh
knows?
yeah, over there on Silverdale. Yeah, that's all those homes were built in the 1920s and 30s, and they all came. He could give you could give us the lowdown on any address I could probably throw at you anywhere
Probably.
in the city. So I
That
said,
just means I'm old.
so I said, yeah. I said, this soul food restaurant, which I have never heard of. Had you ever heard of it?
No.
But you knew it was an old Kentucky Fried Chicken once I gave you the address.
Right.
You're so weird.
Because I remember the Kentucky
You're
Fried
so-
Chicken.
You're so weird.
And I've been
That's such a weird thing
I've
to
been
me.
to the garage door many times.
Have you?
At Salvatore's there.
No stories to tell there, I'm sure.
No.
No stories to tell. But yeah, so here we are. 16th homicide. Dude is killed in the parking lot of a soul food restaurant, 2:45 a.m. Restaurant only stays open till 9. What's going on? What's going on with that? But in that particular area is all the way down on East Ridge Road, right? I mean, it's like
near St. Paul.
Yeah. It backs right up to, I can't think of that.
People will know where the garage door is if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
just, they're familiar with that.
I mean, I got to tell you, I've looked at the pictures. The food looks good.
Oh, yeah.
Food looks good, but I don't know why, people were congregated in a parking lot at 2:45 in the morning when the latest, homicide occurred. But apparently they've made an arrest in the case, which, okay. I mean, I don't ever know what happens after these people are arrested. They don't stay in jail very long, right? You can murder someone.
Get an appearance ticket and you're released
Kind of.
to go steal another car
Or kill another
or
person.
kill another person.
Speaking of cars, so Thursday and Friday here in Rochester, carjackings seem to be the thing. Here's what I wonder. What is going to happen when the next carjacking, it's gunpoint carjacking, by the way, when the carjackers who are 13 and 14 and 15 and 16 years old, right? These aren't, adults doing the carjacking. These are teenagers with guns. What's going to happen when they carjack the wrong person? I ask you, what do you think?
Well, we already found that out in Gates there on Chili Avenue when a man was shot because he told them no.
Someone's going to have a gun.
Yeah.
They're going to pull out the gun and they're going to shoot the carjackers who are teenagers. And I guarantee you all hell will break loose. It's like, what in the world was a 12-year-old doing robbing Boeheim's wife in the parking lot of that Syracuse mall? That was a 12-year-old. You knew that, right? That story?
That's crazy.
So Jim Boeheim's wife, what's the name of that big mall that's in Syracuse? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's a big
something Freedom or something.
I can't think of it. One of our listeners or viewers. But anyway, so she's there in the park. This is like broad daylight, middle of the day of a regular work day, Monday through Friday. And Destiny. Thank you, Patty. Leave it to my shopper of high-end goods to know. So Destiny USA, she's there in the parking lot. 12-year-old kid walks up to her, robs her at gunpoint. That's insanity. Jim Boeheim's wife. Let's look at this tweet. There were 4 to 5 basically armed carjackings in the city, all done by teenagers. And look what Rochester PD has to say about one. 16 years old. Officers took the 16-year-old into custody twice over a 3-day period for his involvement in 2 carjackings. 5 carjackings between the 16th and the 17th last week, which would have been, Wednesday and Thursday? All perpetrators were teenagers.
Well, bail reform is racist.
Wait, does Kathy Hochul say that? I'm just wondering. Kathy
Does
Hochul.
she? Probably not.
Hochul pitches changes to bail reform. And she doesn't mean it. This is obviously, something that she's trying to combat
She
Cuomo
has to
with.
steer to the middle.
She's going to have to.
Mhm.
She's going to have to, because I guarantee comeback Cuomo will win. Comeback Cuomo will absolutely win.
Will the middle-aged female white vote support Governor Cuomo? Who knows? That's usually the suburban white women are what dictate the Democrat Party there.
I mean, I have no idea, but she says she's making the pitch for several changes to bail reform. I don't know if that's just chatter to maybe, turn things around in her favor to garner more supporters for Kathy Hochul, because Kathy Hochul cannot beat comeback Cuomo. He can assault as many women in his, in his office, or even random women. When I say random women, there's a woman here in Rochester that he came during the flooding when, North Greece got flooded, when they, raised the St. Lawrence River and Lake Ontario levels went crazy.
Summer of 17.
He came to Rochester, and she claims that he kind of groped her inappropriately, right? So she's a random woman that he didn't even know. I mean, can he get past that? Can he get past the groping charges and the killing of grandma and grandpa in the nursing homes? Which, by the way, no charges have ever stuck to comeback Cuomo. None. Not the groping and sexual harassment of any of the women. And I think there were 18 at final count. I can't even remember how many women alleged that he had acted inappropriately.
Deshaun Watson just got 40-50 million from the Cleveland Browns, and he didn't get charged with anything.
I mean, or for the nursing home fiasco. Nothing. All the DAs in all of these counties dropped the charges for not only the groping and the sexual harassment, but also no charges came from any of the COVID nursing home deaths, where he returned sick seniors to the nursing homes, which then in turn made a lot of other senior citizens sick, and they ended up dying when he shouldn't have had them sent back to the nursing home to begin with.
Yeah. Here's the reason why Cuomo can experiment with this run for governor. He has the money. He's had it in his account. He can't keep it.
Right.
So why not spend it on advertising or whatever and see if people are open to it?
Many New Yorkers
I don't think he's going to be getting money from other people. The Democrat Party is not going to give him money, are they? Unless he shows that he can win the vote. So he's trying to prove that he's legit.
And there were New Yorkers at this particular, speech gathering where he gave the speech that, hey, we're not going to find agreement on all things. But he said, but we have to make progress, and to make progress, we have to move forward, and we have to, sometimes do very uncomfortable things. And many New Yorkers that were at this gathering were shouting amen and, Cuomo again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a whole big, this guy, I just don't understand it.
They thought they got rid of him. Come back, Cuomo.
Yep. It's like the whole Hunter Biden story, which completely we have been talking about for the 2 years that we've been doing a podcast on
Chad's impersonation.
Chad does a great Hunter Biden. The New York Times finally came out a week ago and said, oh, hey, everyone. You know that Hunter Biden story that we just said was a whole made up thing that Russia did to try to,
on 60 Minutes, the president was on 60 Minutes, and she told him it was all made up. When President Trump was on 60 Minutes.
It was a whole made up. It was a whole Russian thing that they made up to kind of, screw up the elections. That was it. The Hunter Biden story is not true. And mainstream media ignored the Hunter Biden story from the very beginning. Now,
I wonder why.
The New York Times is saying, oh, Now that we look back at it and kind of take a look at all the evidence, that Hunter Biden story is pretty legit. 2 years after Biden was elected.
And if it wasn't for the New York Post, who was the ones that came out with it,
The only legitimate news
besides
source.
your other,
But
your other sources.
right, exactly. Former U.S. Attorney General Bill Barr accused President Biden yesterday of lying to the American people during a presidential debate where he said, and he knows what his son is.
Why didn't he say that when it happened?
We can deny all we want. Some of us have children that do things that we wish that they would not do. Some of our children go sideways. Some of our children go sideways and finally come back into the fold. They learn their lesson. It might take them a little while longer, but you know what? Sometimes we're embarrassed by our children. And this is one kid. He's like the black sheep of the Biden family. And I don't think President Biden wanted to admit that his son was good for nothing, which is what he is. He's an addict who had his hand out to China and the Ukraine and taking deals under the table. And everyone ignored the story except for the New York Post. Here is the former Attorney General.
Well, Bill Barr is probably single-handedly is the one who killed President Trump's reelection because he didn't say anything. He stayed quiet. He knew he was a Bush leftover.
Yeah.
Probably deep down didn't even like President Trump.
But here he is talking about.
I'm limited in what I can say because I don't want to discuss any possible ongoing investigations.
Why would you?
But my reaction to the president there was obviously resisting the idea of injecting a criminal investigation of one of the candidates' children into the race when there hasn't been any definitive judgment over at the Department of Justice. So I made it clear I wasn't going to discuss criminal cases with him, especially ones that he might have an interest in. So I would still do that today, but I was very disturbed during the debate when candidate Biden lied to the American people about the laptop. He's squarely confronted with the laptop, and he suggested that it was Russian disinformation and pointed to the letter written by some intelligence people that was baseless, which he knew was a lie. And I was shocked by that. And fortunately, the DNI came out and said, no, it's not disinformation. The FBI said the same thing. Media ignored it. So when you're talking about interference in an election, I can't think of anything more than that.
Knowing what you know of the case, do you think that there is any legal liability for the president here? Perhaps not while he's in office.
I wouldn't want to venture an opinion on that.
Of course he wouldn't.
That's why they had you on.
Damn lawyers.
Mr. Barr. They wanted you to have an opinion on it. I know, exactly. Of course, there's a legal problem with President Biden. I mean, you talk about a laptop from hell. I just can't believe that every single mainstream media television channel, none of them covered it. Not NBC, not CBS, not ABC. And finally, 2 years after the election, the New York Times, which now you got to look at and go, okay, we can't trust them. Can we?
Never could.
I mean, they wouldn't report on the information because they just didn't want President Trump to be reelected.
Right.
That's not ethical journalism. That is journalism at its absolute worst. So I don't, and of course I kind of threw out the New York Times a long time ago, but you can't trust them, right? To do a story, you can't trust them to tell the truth if they never publish the truth.
Yeah, they probably had it in their stack for, whatever. And they're like, no, we can't do this.
Yeah. So you are watching and listening to Kimberly's Revolution on the We the People Podcast Network. And if you get a chance, go to the We the People Podcast Network.com. You can buy a t-shirt. You got the t-shirts?
I got one.
Oh, look at them. Oh, they're so pretty. Oh, look at that. That's the back of the t-shirt. We the People Podcast Network.com. You can buy a t-shirt. You can wear it out.
I won't guarantee it'll be ironed when it comes to you.
And of course, we want you to support our advertisers too. Taylor Heating and Plumbing, Precision Lawn and Garden, and also Express Sealers. We live here in Rochester, New York, but I grew up in Tornado Alley. Have you ever, when we think severe weather, the first thing that comes to mind here in Rochester, New York is
The ice storm.
snow, snow and
Right.
ice.
Snow and ice.
When you ask people in the Midwest or the southern Midwest, Oklahoma, Texas, if you ask them what severe weather is, they have a whole different answer. And I'm going to show you what the answer is right here. Right here.
There we go. It's a twister. It's a twister.
Get inside! Run!
This is in Texas.
Run!
Outside of Austin in a town called Elgin, Texas.
Not anymore.
Run!
Yeah. We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Those twisters. So there was an outbreak. I mean, this was just one of many twisters that hit the Midwest yesterday evening, barreling through several cities in Texas. I don't know. I mean, we always hear people say, "Oh yeah, that wind took some shingles off my house."
Right.
People think the wind in Rochester, but you don't. I mean, that's
I had to go
consistent
pick up
wind all
some
day.
sticks in my yard after the last windstorm.
So there were
Could you imagine the mess that makes?
4 people injured as several twisters made their way through Texas and Oklahoma, and I think that even some severe weather. I mean, this is tornado season in the South and the Midwest. That's one thing that we don't have to deal with here in Rochester, New York. We don't have to deal with the hurricanes or the hurricane insurance or the tornadoes. It's so weird that a tornado will come through a section of town and leave all the houses on one side perfect.
Mhm.
They don't have a scratch on them. The other side of the street, completely wiped out. It is the craziest thing.
Well, I have to deal twice a week with Hurricane Kimberly.
Yeah.
Does that count?
It does not count.
Oh, okay.
It does not count. But where I grew up in Buckner, Missouri, we had a little area in the basement that was all decked out for tornado season.
Next to the canned tomatoes.
We had batteries down there and a battery powered radio and flashlights and snacks and blankets. And from like March until, I don't know, the end of July, we had the tornado section of the basement where we would go.
Yeah, people here have no idea.
No idea what that is.
Although I bet you now people are starting to talk about shelters with, World War III pending.
Yeah, you think?
What's your plan for that?
I got news for you.
I'm just going to plan on dying.
First off, I got news for you. If there happens
have
to
no
be
plan.
World War III,
Do you have a plan?
there's no freaking shelter that's going to.
Austin, do you have a plan, or you're just going to choose death?
Oh no, I'm going north.
You're going north?
Yep.
Okay.
To Alaska, where I hear you can see Russia from your backyard in Alaska.
So Alaska's safe because it's next to Russia. Rochester, not safe.
I don't know. They say the safest place in the event of a nuclear war is Colorado.
Really?
I looked it up on the internets. I looked it up to see the safest place to go. And number one was Antarctica, but who the hell wants to go there? It's uninhabitable. You can't live in Antarctica.
A couple
You
months a
freeze
year,
to
you
death.
can.
No, you can't. No, you
A
can't.
couple months a year.
But they say that Antarctica is the number one safest place to head to in the event of a nuclear attack or World War III. One of the other locations is, of course, Colorado. And I think one of the other locations is like where you see those little huts
Mhm.
where you can stay above the water, like Bora Bora or someplace of the islands way out in the South Pacific.
So you're saying, Kimberlina, that this is a business proposition. Land in Antarctica is probably cheap.
I'm thinking
Climate change, right? It's going to be like
thinking.
Florida there at some point, right? So buy land in Antarctica. It's going to be like Virginia there in 50 years.
exactly.
So you can start your own settlement.
Christina says, imagine New York Imagine New York being of the thousands who have fled, willing to risk a hurricane over dealing another day.
It's funny. Yeah.
With things the way that they are
We're getting Cuomo back,
state. Yeah.
Christina. We're excited. He's coming.
So she says, imagine people wanting to get out of the state of New York so bad that they're willing to risk a hurricane to move to Florida to just get away from bad policy. I get that completely.
Yeah.
I just don't like Florida.
No.
I don't. I think in order to move to the areas that aren't crazy populated, then you have a bug issue. The farther you get away from the coast, I hear the bugs are absolutely ridiculous. I could be wrong. I don't know.
What about like the 120 dry heat in like Arizona in the summer? Can you deal with that?
I can't be landlocked. I don't want to be in Arizona. Listen, I'm
Vegas.
a Scorpio. There are Scorpios, scorpions, and tarantulas in Arizona, and I just don't really want to deal with Arizona.
So it's all about bugs to you.
It is all about, yes.
Okay.
Hey Chris, how are you? Good you're tuning in today. So growing up here in Rochester.
Yeah.
See, I grew up
in Irondequoit
in the Midwest, and
I didn't move far.
We didn't call colas soda or pop. But I saw this on TikTok and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, this is fighting words for Rochesterians
because
here.
I've heard people get into arguments.
Oh yeah, this is
about
a serious argument.
And I thought this was crazy, but there are people, and I'm just gonna let you listen to it, and then I'm gonna tell you what I've always called stuff. Go ahead.
Man, you want a soda? Yeah, no, I'm good. Suit yourself, but I will have a pop. Pop is your daddy. This is soda. When you open it, it goes pop. Only if you're drinking from a bottle. Did you hear that? Pop. Is that a bottle of soda? Did you even get that? Is this 1958? Are we still in the Cold War? Give it a week. Fair. Pop is just short for soda pop. Soda. It's called soda. Take it back. Never. I've called it pop my whole gosh darn life. Well, you've been wrong your whole life. Hey, y'all. Mind if I grab a Coke? I'm not picky. I'll take whatever Coke y'all got. On second thought, soda's actually kind of catchy. Soda. Goodness, y'all got a blue raspberry Coke? Bless your heart.
Okay, so that guy's me because no matter what it was, it could have been Fanta or Sprite
it was a Coke.
or a root beer. It was a Coke.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Coke. And by the way, we only drank Coke in my house, and we didn't call it soda, and we didn't call it pop. It was always, can you get me a Coke? And then someone would say, you mean a Sprite or a Dr. Pepper? And of course, that's what I meant. Yes. We didn't.
No, I never heard of that.
We didn't discriminate against the names,
soda.
right? What is it?
Soda.
It's a Coke.
No.
Everything's a Coke.
Coke is a specific thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Coke is Coca-Cola.
Right.
Yeah, you can't call anything that's not a Coca-Cola a
When
Coke.
I say Dr. Pepper, I mean Coke.
Well, that's just insanity.
When I say root beer, I mean Coke.
I didn't realize
the correct answer is soda.
The Midwest. That's the Midwest.
Soda is the correct answer.
Soda is absolutely correct.
It's pop. It's soda. See what I'm saying? But
I will allow pop. I will not allow Coke.
There's a
get that out of here.
Big debate here in Western New York. What is that all about?
For 50 years, we've been arguing this.
Just call it a Coke and everyone's happy.
Oh,
that's me. That is me. All right, you want to play a game?
Sure.
Kimberly's Revolution. We like to play games.
I'm nonviolent. Just letting you know.
Do you know basketball? Because
I do.
My mother Lois knows basketball. She was in heaven starting Thursday, Friday, and all weekend long. And by the way, Rock Chalk Jayhawks, baby.
Oh, that's right.
We are Kansas.
I haven't paid any attention to it this
Even
year.
though we're from Missouri, my dad was from Kansas, so he always cheered for the Kansas sports. Football was K-State, basketball was KU. So we're KU fans in my household. So let's play a little game for some of these teams that are going to be in the Sweet 16. And one of these teams is actually, one of these
Cinderella
story. They call it March Madness for a reason, right? Okay, so I'm going to name the team and you tell me where the town is.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I don't know where St. Peter's is. I'm going to guess.
Austin, you want to play?
Oh, sure.
You want to play this game? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you the name of the basketball team.
Oh boy.
And you tell me the town.
Terre Haute, Indiana.
Kansas. What's the town for KU?
Kansas City. Nailed it.
Wrong. Wrong.
I should know all
Ding,
this.
ding, 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 ding. Come on now.
I have COVID fog.
Come on. Serious? You're full of shit. You're just getting old and it's the start of dementia.
All right, what is it?
You don't know? Austin, you really don't know?
Oh, I have
What's
no
wrong
idea.
with you guys? Lawrence, Kansas.
Lawrence.
Lawrence,
Yeah.
Kansas.
Yes, of
Gonzaga.
course.
What's the town
It's
for
in
Gonzaga?
Washington. It's
Excuse me?
Gonzaga.
It's in
Did you make that
Washington.
one up?
It's in Washington. That's all I got.
Okay, you're close. It is in Washington. You don't know what
Seattle.
that is one city in Washington, of course.
What is it?
Spokane.
I
Spokane.
had that one.
All right. North Carolina.
Chapel Hill.
Yes.
Got one.
You got one. St. Peter's, which is the
It's in,
Cinderella
like, New
story.
Jersey, or is it in New Jersey?
It is in New Jersey, but where in New Jersey?
Newark.
No, you're just any name for a city, any name of a
Trenton.
state. Jersey City.
Jersey City.
The St. Peter's, which is the Cinderella team going to the Sweet 16, is in Jersey City, New Jersey. I
Yeah.
used to live in Jersey City, New Jersey, by the way. Arkansas. What town?
Well,
Kansas City. Nailed it.
Little Rock. Little Rock.
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville.
All right, that's a little game. That's why
Is there any other easy ones in there?
Why is Chad commenting on this? Those were all easy. If I know those answers, you should know those answers.
I don't pay attention to basketball anymore.
Look at Chad Lawrence. Jersey City. All right, that
Okay,
does
wait.
it for
Give
me.
Chad one more. Give Chad
I
one
don't.
more.
I don't have any more.
That's it. There's 16 of them. You only had 4.
I know. I didn't write down any of the others. I didn't. I
Okay.
didn't really write down, any of the other teams. So, anything from just Tom today? What do you got? Anything for Kimberly's Revolution?
I want to go over real quick the medical condition that's coming. Okay.
For your dementia? Is that what we're talking
It has
about?
to do with COVID.
Austin's laughing.
It's called long COVID.
Yeah,
People that have had COVID, unlike you, who's one of God's chosen one,
of course,
and didn't get COVID.
and didn't get the shot.
The rest of us that did get COVID, supposedly 80 million of us,
Mhm.
there's going to be side effects coming. Some of them got it immediately.
That's
some of them
bullshit,
later.
Tom. No,
Well-
that's complete. You know what? They want you to be afraid. They want you
I don't think
to be
so.
worried about
I
COVID.
think this is
They
real.
want you to continually be in a state of fear
Well, that's the
about
point.
what's coming. What's coming? Oh my God, I had COVID, and now there's going to be more bad coming.
So,
No, quit believing all that. It's nonsense.
so of the 10.6 million jobs that are available,
Mhm.
apparently about 15% of those, 750,000 to 1,300,000, have this long COVID, and they just can't go back to work now.
Okay,
Because
now,
they- because
is that what
they-
they're telling everyone?
Because
Is that-
they are
I get-
struggling.
I get it.
They are struggling, and they're too sick to work.
Lazy. Don't want to go back to
But-
work.
And in that case, I have the long COVID.
But they can't.
Very long COVID.
They can't meet the insurance's definition of being sick, so they're not getting any benefits.
Are
So
you falling
the new
for
thing that's
that
coming,
brainwashing
the new thing that's coming is
ridiculousness?
this long COVID. Well, think about this. When PTSD first happened, right, from the Gulf War, when it started in the early 90s,
Well, their PTSD was
has
like,
been going on forever.
yeah, but you know what people did, and I know people get angry when I say this. And you man up and you get things done that are necessary to get done in life. And I know people really have PTSD, but you hear people that even weren't then they have PTSD from trauma. I get it. I don't want to make anyone's feelings any less, but sometimes I think people take advantage of the situation. This is what I think that is.
Well, this is going to be the next PTSD. It's coming down the way. Yep.
No.
It's already got a name. It's
No.
called long COVID.
Yeah, well, it can't
was,
exist unless
you know,
they give it a
obviously
freaking name. If
Chronic
they give it a name and then it can exist.
chronic fatigue syndrome
Mm-hmm.
is really what it is.
No.
But the main target group,
No.
hang on a second, the main target group that they're finding the most issues is middle-aged females. So watch out for this.
Why are
This
you
is
looking at me?
coming. This is coming. That's the high target group.
Okay.
And there's a lot of different symptoms that are involved. One of them is the thing that I have.
How do you even know?
I literally have become an idiot. And I mean, I was never the sharpest tool in the shed to begin with, but I certainly wasn't this stupid.
I honestly think it's aging. I think sometimes that you all of a sudden, find your
all of a sudden,
can I just say
6 months later,
male menopause. And how in the world are middle-aged women going to distinguish the long COVID effect? How are they going to distinguish that from actual menopause symptoms, which have been documented for years? You get in a fog, you have, sometimes you're nauseated, sometimes you have these awful sweats. I mean, hot flashes.
There's thousands and thousands of people that are being turned down.
Middle-aged women who gravitate to cats.
Correct. There's
like me.
Thousands and thousands of people that are being turned down for disability because they can't work.
They should be turned down for disability. Get your ass out and get the freaking work.
There's no test for it.
Because it doesn't exist, Tom.
It will. Do you know the three categories?
No, it freaking doesn't exist.
The three categories. Okay. Number one is the direct cell damage from the virus. You got the virus. You had direct cell damage from COVID. Number two,
brain damage for sure.
Number two,
brain damage.
Symptoms that are related to chronic hospitalization. People that were in the hospital for 3, 4, 2 months. They were in bed for weeks. These people are taking years to recover, if at all.
Mm-hmm.
And number three, symptoms that are appearing after recovery. Like my niece is 20 years old. She still doesn't have her taste. She had COVID 6 months ago.
Things happen sometimes when you get really sick.
I can't taste anything 6 months later.
It sometimes happens.
All right, don't make me throw this paper at you.
She can work, right?
She was a chef, Kimberly.
Does her not being able to taste things hamper her from getting up and going to a job on a daily basis?
Some of us weren't God's chosen ones, okay? we have to fight through this
asking the simple question.
All right.
I don't take that Prevagen. I hear that works. I don't know. But honestly,
long COVID, it's going to be a real thing.
How old are you?
I am 612.
No.
I'm as old as Yoda.
I think what happens.
How old is Yoda, Austin?
900.
I'm just going to kind of put this to you, like I've put it to my husband about his dad, my father-in-law, is that sometimes when you drink heavily all your life and you get to a point where you're 57 years old, all the elements kind of come together and the brain doesn't function as well as it should.
It's long COVID.
It's from years of drinking.
No, it's not.
Oh, it is. It's a thing. Look it up. Patty says, tastes like chemicals, smells like chemicals. Patty had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually in the hospital. So yeah, it's not a thing. Long-term COVID effect.
6 months from now, this is all anybody's going to be talking about.
Chad Hummel says, got freedom at 4:30. And he also says, you're full of crap.
Well, I know he does.
Chad Hummel got freedom coming up right here. Same bat channel, same bat station. Right here, Kimberly's Revolution, the We the People podcast network, got freedom with Chad Hummel. And I think that's going to do it for us.
I can't remember what our catchphrase is because I have long COVID. God bless. Be kind to others.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor 500.